So let's fly over the Northern Cape Urban TVET College campuses, located in Kimberley, the world's richest mine for over a century, and the place which has radically transformed how technical and vocational education was working in South Africa. So let's start flying in, and the first thing I want you to look out for is the fact that it's caught between a T. You can see the Orange River below and the Vaal River above it, and it's kind of in the middle, and you'll see all sorts of agricultural developments going on in the smaller rivers, like that's the Rit and the Modder River with a massive agricultural project there. And as we fly into Kimberley, I want you to check out those 3 huge holes on the bottom right. You know, I kind of thought that the big hole was the only diamond mine in Kimberley, and I was completely wrong in this. Now let's actually fly around the big hole and notice that there's water in it. Now this was a huge problem as they got deeper and deeper and deeper, starting to demand things like steam engines to pump the water out, heavy, hard labor demands as the pit got deeper and deeper, meaning that slowly but surely the small miners fell away and they were taken over by mining capitalists who could get access to credit and capital, and they could spend the money on the expensive machinery, and they could start to control the labor. Start putting the blacks into closed compounds on the one side to get control over them, make sure that they supposedly didn't steal the diamonds, and then on the other side set up like a white overseeing capacity, with the whites also getting the engineering jobs and the more skilled jobs. And that is a part of the story of this campus. It's a historically white campus. It used to be called the Northern Cape Technical College. And really it was a place designed for the training of engineers to work in the skilled positions within the mines of Kimberley. Basically, the foreign engineers, who were the only engineers the mines could get access to, were way too expensive. So in Cape Town, they started up an engineering program for whites, and that became the University of Cape Town. And then over here, in this historical building, which is now much abused, was the old South African School of Mines building. And this is where the guys came from Cape Town to do their practicals in Kimberley in engineering. And then when gold was discovered, the South African School of Mines was basically relocated to Johannesburg. But what you have in that abandoned building is the story of the beginnings of the University of Cape Town, the beginnings of the University of the Witwatersrand, and how the increasingly complex nature of mining resulted in the setting up of technical and vocational education for artisans and professionals, which mainly became located within the white group. And in stark contrast to that, around the Bultfontein, Wesselton and Du Toitspan mines, you had these closed compounds for the black miners who were forced to live there and not in any way go out of that zone. Very much like a prison concentration camp. But slowly but surely, the men who were migrating there from places like Sekekuno land to get guns and to be able to buy cattle started to settle in this area, and black locations developed. And so this is where the old More Moholo Technical College was. Now, historically what happened was it amalgamated with the coloured college, which was known as the R.C. Elliott Technical College. And the two together for a while were known as the Kimberley College. So the actual amalgamation which formed the Northern Cape Urban TVET College was then a combination of Kimberley College and Northern Cape Technical College. Now there's all sorts of things going on at this campus historically. At the bottom you can see the old Galashewe campus of the National Institute of Higher Education. You've got the Fatsimang campus, which is the old College of Education. And then you've got the old Technical College. And a part of me feels really proud to be in the new South Africa, because that difficult mix is now a fantastic college. It's become a centre of specialisation in carpentry. It offers all sorts of interesting new vocational programs. It's got superb workshops. So one up for us in South Africa. Now I've pulled radically out from Kimberley to show you some of the commercial farming projects going on in the area. And key to understanding this is that the urbanization and industrialization around Kimberley led to a massive increase of demand for food and agricultural produce. And what happened was initially both black and white farmers responded to that market demand, but then the white farmers, with the assistance of government, prevailed. So I really want to just fly through this zone to give you a sense of that history. So this area initially was controlled by Chief Galashewe, and what happened was after he resisted, this land was confiscated and taken away. Rhodes had the idea of diverting the water from the Vaal and the Harts River all the way down to Kimberley. But initially what happened in around about the 1930s is that long canals were dug all the way from the Vaal River. It's around about 1,176 kilometers worth of canals. And what happened was poor whites were given clothing, medical aid and protection and encouraged to move here and start farming. And now you have one of the world's biggest agricultural produce areas, producing things like olives and pecans and peanuts and citrus and grapes. But behind it is a terrible history of exploitation of the blacks on the one side and the subsidization of poor whites in the area. And it's something we should never forget as we move forward in the new South Africa. So that gives us first sight of the Northern Cape Urban TVET College, a place, Kimberley, where the first college to train engineers in South Africa started, the place where the split between poor black unskilled labour and highly skilled white labour really started, with overseers being white, overseers looking after and controlling black labour, the growth in commercial agriculture dominated by our white farmers, and the investment in poor white farmers to ensure that they survived. And now we have an integrated college that has overcome the history and is fighting for a highly skilled and integrated future for all our youth in this country.